Welcome, travelers of time and myth, to Forgotten Scrolls. Tonight, we will explore together a story that has never truly faded from memory. Have you ever wondered how an empire capable of spanning 3 continents, one that dared to challenge Greece itself, is truly forged? If you seek ancient knowledge, profound calm, and deeper insight before sleep, this is your quiet refuge. This story is for those who love to understand the past unadorned with the rigor of truth and the ancient art of narration. We will accompany Darius I, the great king who did not inherit his throne, but seized it with audacious courage, brilliant strategy, and meticulous administration. We will witness how he quelled rebellions, masterfully organized vast provinces, and dreamed into existence eternal cities like Persepolis. We will explore his wars, his enduring legacy, his moments of struggle, and his expansive vision of the world, all in a measured yet captivating journey. Each chapter will serve as a key to unlock the profound secrets of one of antiquity's most extraordinary rulers. This documentary will not only impart history to your mind, but it will also gently guide you toward a serene rest, enriched with valuable knowledge. So settle in, dim the lights, and allow your thoughts to journey along the ancient paths of Persia. I invite you to subscribe to the channel to continue discovering more profound and relaxing stories like this one. Now, let us together unroll the Forgotten Scrolls of Darius the Great. Chapter 1. The Usurpation of Gaumata. Upon the death of King Cambyses II in the year 522 BCE, the vast Persian Empire plunged into an atmosphere of profound uncertainty. The throne lay without a recognized, legitimate successor, and chaos began to ripple and expand through the empire's extensive regions. It was within this dangerous power vacuum that an enigmatic figure named Gaumata emerged. This individual boldly claimed to be Bardia, the long-lost brother of the recently deceased king. According to ancient chronicles, Bardia had, in truth, been secretly murdered on the express orders of Cambyses himself, who harbored a deep fear of losing his own authority. However, few were aware of this grim secret, and Gaumata shrewdly exploited this widespread ignorance to convincingly feign the identity of the vanished brother. Under this false identity, he began to rapidly gain widespread support among the subjected peoples, particularly among the Medes. He promised sweeping tax relief and greater freedoms, which swiftly garnered him popular sympathy. The accounts of Darius, most notably the monumental Behistun inscription, unequivocally assert that Gaumata governed with a firm hand for several months. During this clandestine period, he meticulously dismantled royal archives and ruthlessly suppressed any document that might expose his audacious imposture. For many, he was hailed as a liberator. Yet, for the Persians fiercely loyal to the Achaemenid dynasty, he was a dangerous usurper. Tension steadily mounted in the noble courts. Darius, then a young nobleman of the Achaemenid family, observed Gaumata's ascent with growing distrust. Although he held no central role in the government, he possessed royal lineage and close ties to Cambyses. He quickly grasped the grave risk that the false Bardia posed to the empire's fragile stability. He resolved then to act in profound secrecy, meticulously weaving a silent conspiracy. It was no simple undertaking. Gaumata was surrounded by a loyal guard, and many truly believed him to be the legitimate heir. Any single misstep could mean instant death for Darius and his clandestine allies. Despite the immense danger, he managed to gather 6 Persian nobles who shared his grave suspicions. This small, resolute group, later known to history as the 7 Conspirators, solemnly swore to restore the throne's rightful legitimacy. The audacious plan was meticulously conceived and executed with surgical precision. First, they verified beyond any doubt that the true Bardia was indeed dead, ensuring they committed no injustice. Then, they selected a pivotal day to infiltrate the heavily guarded complex where Gaumata resided. This residence, located in Media, was under formidable protection, yet it possessed subtle vulnerabilities that Darius, through his connections, was intimately aware of. The assault was swift and brutal. The conspirators successfully gained entry to the compound undetected until they reached the main hall. There they found Gaumata attended by only a few men. They confronted him directly, vehemently accusing him of being an impostor. Faced with the grave accusations, Gaumata vehemently denied being a fraud, but his palpable fear betrayed him. The tension in the hall was electric. Darius, with unwavering determination, led the final charge. A short, intense hand-to-hand struggle erupted. Gaumata fell dead beneath the conspirators' blades, and his few followers were swiftly subdued. Thus ended the usurper's brief, clandestine reign. The chaos he left behind, however, would not dissipate so easily. News of Gaumata's assassination spread like wildfire throughout the empire. Some regions celebrated the impostor's demise, while others, who had genuinely believed in his identity, erupted in revolt. The power vacuum persisted, and no new king had yet been officially proclaimed. Swift action was imperative. The conspirators, immediately after their audacious coup, convened to decide the future of the Persian throne. Some proposed establishing an oligarchy of nobles, others an elective monarchy. Finally, Darius eloquently argued in favor of a traditional monarchy under his own resolute leadership. His lineage, his proven valor, and his compelling vision for the empire swayed the present nobles. Darius was not a direct son of Cyrus the Great, but his kinship with the Achaemenid lineage granted him vital legitimacy. Furthermore, his pivotal role in Gaumata's downfall had greatly elevated him in the eyes of the Persian elite. It was thus that he was chosen as the new Great King of Persia. Yet, he still needed to assert his authority against the formidable challenges posed by the rest of the empire. The assassination of Gaumata was merely the first step on an arduous and often bloody path. Many provinces still refused to recognize Darius as their sovereign. Rebellions erupted from distant Babylonia to the fertile lands of Egypt. The young king understood that he had to consolidate his position not only through bloodshed, but also with astute intelligence. The figure of Gaumata, over time, transformed into a symbol of deceit and treacherous manipulation. His brief reign marked a profound turning point in Persian history. The Behistun inscription, carved into rock face under Darius's direct orders, immortalized this critical period. In it, Darius meticulously narrated his ascent and vehemently denounced Gaumata as an impostor. Despite this official version, some modern historians continue to debate whether Gaumata was truly a usurper or in fact the real Bardia. Sources are scarce, and all originate from Darius's own circle, so doubt persists even today. Whatever the truth, this dramatic episode triggered the emergence of one of the greatest rulers in the ancient world. Darius now held the title, but not yet absolute control. With his ascent began an era of unprecedented wars, sweeping reforms, and vast expansion. The empire, still wounded by Gaumata's deception, desperately needed order, and Darius was unequivocally determined to impose it, whatever the cost. Chapter 2. The King's Unyielding Ascent. Following the execution of Gaumata, Darius was solemnly proclaimed king in Pasargadae, the sacred heart of the empire. Although his Achaemenid lineage provided a degree of backing, not all immediately accepted his legitimacy. He had been but one noble among many, lacking a direct claim to the throne. His authority, therefore, had to be meticulously built from the very foundations amidst pervasive tensions. The initial months of his reign were extraordinarily fragile. Rumors spread throughout the provinces that the new king had, in fact, murdered the true Bardia. Babylonia, Elam, Media, Parthia, and other distant regions shrewdly exploited this pervasive uncertainty to declare their independence. The empire fractured like a shattered vase. Darius keenly understood that being proclaimed king was insufficient. He had to conquer respect and command through decisive actions. He initiated a relentless campaign against these widespread rebellions, a campaign that would mark the unequivocal beginning of his definitive ascent. In total, he confronted no fewer than 9 usurpers in various corners of the sprawling empire. Each represented a real and formidable threat. The first major challenge arose in Elam, where a leader named Ashina boldly proclaimed himself king. Darius swiftly marched towards Susa and decisively crushed the rebel forces. The repression was severe, yet remarkably effective. He made it unequivocally clear that he would tolerate no divisions. The message was stark. There was only one legitimate king, and that king was he. While he was suppressing the rebellion in Elam, Babylonia rose under the leadership of Nidintu-Bel, who cunningly adopted the name Nebuchadnezzar III. This particular rebellion was exceptionally grave due to the profound symbolic and economic power of Babylon. Darius mobilized a seasoned army and executed a daring crossing of the Tigris River, an extremely risky operation. The campaign was fraught with tension. The decisive battle was fought near Sicyon. Despite the fierce tenacity of the Babylonians, Darius's better organized troops secured a hard-won victory. He entered Babylon not as a welcomed king, but as a resolute conqueror. Nevertheless, he consolidated his dominion with unwavering discipline and exemplary punishments. Control was steadily being re-established. In Media, a local leader named Fravartish attempted to restore the old Median dominance. He proclaimed a separate monarchy and gathered numerous followers among the mountainous tribes. Darius organized a difficult campaign through the rugged, steep terrain. The royal forces faced relentless ambushes and slow, arduous marches, but they did not falter. After months of brutal combat, Fravartish was finally captured and publicly executed. With this decisive act, Darius decisively closed a cycle of rebellions in the western region. The Behistun inscription meticulously narrates these events, exalting the king's valor and unwavering justice. For Darius, every victory also served as a potent propaganda tool. As the rebellions fell one after another, his figure steadily grew stronger. Instead of a mere usurper, he began to be seen as the true restorer of order. He possessed not only military talent, but also a profound strategic vision. He grasped that true stability could not be achieved solely with the sword. It also required meticulously constructed administrative structures. Darius began to surround himself with fiercely loyal counselors and highly capable officials. He reformed aspects of the army, significantly improved supply lines, and generously rewarded those who demonstrated merit. These foundational steps laid the bedrock for a long and enduring reign. He was not merely a warrior. He was a meticulous empire builder. In these campaigns, Darius displayed an unusual aptitude for adapting to local terrains and customs. He wielded force when absolutely necessary, but he also skillfully employed diplomacy. In some regions, he magnanimously pardoned defeated leaders if they swore unwavering loyalty. This strategic flexibility was crucial for rapidly extending his influence. The empire's control was not just a matter of weaponry. Darius systematically began to reorder communication routes and secure tribute collection. Every single province had to understand that the king was omnipresent, even from afar. His ascent was founded upon a carefully balanced combination of real power and symbolic authority. In parallel, he skillfully had his figure represented as divinely chosen, particularly by Ahura Mazda, the supreme deity of Zoroastrianism. This religious legitimation was immensely important for cohering the empire under a common worldview. Royal texts insist that he acted by divine mandate, not out of personal ambition. The message was overwhelmingly powerful. With the main centers of rebellion firmly controlled, Darius was recognized in almost all regions of the empire. His authority was no longer merely nominal. It was effective and undeniable. He had proven he was not a simple opportunist noble. He was a leader capable of restoring unity after chaos. Thus, Darius not only ascended to the throne, but consolidated it with blood, strategy, and profound vision. His name began to resonate in every language of the empire. The young man who once conspired against an impostor was now the true lord of Asia. His formidable reign was only just beginning. Chapter 3. The Grand Architect of Empire. With the rebellions decisively quelled and his legitimacy firmly established, Darius embarked upon the most formidable task, consolidating a vast and incredibly diverse empire. The Persian Empire stretched from the Indus River to the Aegean Sea, encompassing dozens of distinct peoples. Unity, he understood, could not solely rely on brute force. It was imperative to forge enduring and functional structures. One of his immediate measures was to reorganize the army, ensuring direct loyalty to the throne. He systematically reduced the influence of local chiefs and strengthened central command. He created mixed units, integrating soldiers from diverse ethnicities under Persian leadership. This cunning strategy significantly reduced the risk of coordinated regional rebellions. The vigilante. Oversight of trade routes became a paramount priority. Darius keenly understood that commerce was the very lifeblood of the empire. He ordered the restoration of ancient roads and the construction of new vital arteries, such as the celebrated Royal Road. This monumental feat connected Susa with Sardis, enabling the rapid transit of armies, messengers, and valuable goods. He introduced a postal system that would astound the Greeks centuries later. At regular intervals, relay stations allowed for the swift exchange of mounted messengers who could traverse the empire in mere days, an astonishing feat for the era. This extensive network was crucial for effective communication and centralized control. Economic control was also meticulously reinforced. Darius implemented a clearer and standardized tribute system. Each region was required to contribute a fixed annual amount based on its productive capacity. This innovation led to more efficient and predictable administration, and importantly, curbed abuses by local tax collectors. An official currency, the golden daric, was established, greatly facilitating international trade. Although the use of local currencies was permitted, the daric quickly became a powerful symbol of imperial stability. Its purity and weight were rigorously controlled, thus the empire was financially integrated, further bolstering central authority. Darius meticulously had his achievements recorded in monumental inscriptions. The most famous is the Behistun inscription, carved in 3 languages upon a mountain face, visible from a great distance. There he narrates his ascent and justifies his actions. It was propaganda, yes, but also a crucial political document. Religion played a significant role in his consolidation policy. Darius promoted Zoroastrianism, though without imposing it. He presented himself as divinely chosen by Ahura Mazda, the supreme deity. This message strengthened his legitimacy among the Persians without alienating other peoples. Religious tolerance was, for him, a strategic imperative. In Egypt, where revolts were frequent, Darius skillfully adopted pharaonic titles and respected local traditions. He ordered temples restored and favored the Egyptian clergy. This garnered him the respect of many Egyptians, though his control there always remained delicate. He masterfully balanced firmness with astute diplomacy. Darius also founded new cities and fortifications. These served not only as military outposts, but as vital administrative and cultural hubs. In each, he established granaries, archives, and tax offices. In this way, the imperial apparatus extended its reach to the most distant regions. It was an empire with a discernible face and omnipresent presence. Beyond punishing rebellion, he incentivized loyalty with tangible benefits. Local elites who cooperated were rewarded with offices and privileges. This encouraged collaboration without resorting to constant violence. It was a shrewd way to co-opt regional powers without dismantling their established structures. Darius also respected local languages and customs. His decrees appeared in multiple languages, showcasing his cultural sensitivity. He permitted autonomy in internal affairs as long as tribute and loyalty were maintained. This delicate balance between central control and local flexibility was crucial for long-term stability. The empire functioned as a centralized federation under a strong monarchy. Darius was its meticulous architect and its tireless engine. He personally supervised reports from the provinces, maintained constant contact with his generals, and meticulously reviewed matters of justice. He was an indefatigable administrator. His authority no longer solely depended on the sword, but on a complex and remarkably efficient system. Power was consolidated not through fear, but through sheer efficiency. Governing an empire of such magnitude required more than mere ambition. It demanded profound vision, unwavering discipline, and infinite patience. With the imperial apparatus now fully operational, Darius could finally look beyond his established borders. The empire was stabilized internally. It was time to extend his influence into new, uncharted lands. The consolidation was complete, and the grand expansion was only just beginning. Chapter 4. The Iron Hand of Justice. After Darius's ascent to the throne, his authority was not immediately accepted across the entire empire. Various regions erupted in armed revolt, cunningly exploiting the recent instability. These uprisings not only challenged his legitimacy, but also threatened to fragment the newly stabilized empire. Darius, utterly determined to maintain control, responded with both overwhelming force and brilliant strategic acumen. The revolt spread from Babylonia to Egypt, encompassing Media, Elam, and Sagartia. Some were led by pretenders who audaciously claimed to be legitimate descendants of previous kings. Others were driven by local nobles seeking to reclaim their lost autonomy. Chaos spread like wildfire, forcing Darius to act with decisive speed. Babylonia, in particular, proved to be a significant focal point of resistance. A man named Nidintu-Bel proclaimed himself king, deceptively posing as Nebuchadnezzar III. His rebellion attracted thousands of followers and became the most perilous threat to Darius's nascent reign. Controlling Babylon was not only strategically imperative, it was also symbolically crucial for the new king's prestige. Darius marched swiftly towards Babylon and successfully laid siege to the city. The resistance was fierce, and the siege endured for several arduous months, but the city eventually fell. Nidintu-Bel was captured and executed, and Darius ordered a thorough purge of the rebel leaders. To underscore his message, he had his actions meticulously recorded in monumental inscriptions. In Elam, a leader named Ashina also rose against Darius. He boldly proclaimed himself king and seized Susa, the regional capital. Darius dispatched one of his most trusted generals, Gobryas, who successfully quelled the rebellion after an intense campaign. Ashina was captured, cruelly shackled, and publicly displayed before his execution. In Media, the rebel pretender Fravartish claimed to be a descendant of Tyaxares and amassed a significant army. His rebellion proved to be one of the most persistent, as he managed to resist for several months. Darius, unwilling to entrust such a critical task to a mere general, personally led the campaign. He finally vanquished Fravartish and impaled him as a chilling warning to future rebels. Egypt also seized the confusion of the power transition to attempt to break free from Persian rule. Although its rebellion was less organized, it represented a significant threat due to its sheer size and immense wealth. Darius dispatched a military expedition that swiftly brought the situation under control. As a punishment, he reinforced the Persian presence in the region. The campaigns of repression were brutal, yet also meticulously documented. Darius ordered the carving of the famous Behistun inscription, where he detailed each rebellion and how he had decisively overcome it. These inscriptions, carved in 3 languages, were etched into rock so that all would know the official truth. It was a form of propaganda, certainly, but also a key historical document. In total, Darius confronted and suppressed over 9 rebellions in a short span of time. Each region presented a distinct logistical, cultural, and military challenge. The sheer speed with which he managed to restore order astonished even his own allies. His reputation as a ruthless and implacable ruler was firmly established. Darius's methods of punishment varied according to the rebellion's severity. Some leaders were publicly executed, while others were impaled or crucified. Cities that resisted were thoroughly sacked, and their elites replaced by loyal officials. However, he also offered pardon to those who surrendered without a fight. In addition to punishment, Darius implemented reforms to prevent future revolts. He increased control over the satraps, demanded more organized tributes, and closely monitored regional military movements. He established networks of messengers and spies to detect conspiracies before they could erupt. This blend of repression and meticulous administration was fundamental to imperial stability. The repression was not merely military, it was also symbolic and spiritual. Darius promoted the image of himself as divinely chosen by Ahura Mazda, the supreme god of Zoroastrianism. This religious legitimacy was carved into the Behistun inscription and reiterated in edicts and coinage. Thus, his power derived not only from force, but also from divine mandate. The subjugated peoples understood that Darius would tolerate no challenges to his absolute authority. Although many loathed Persian domination, the efficacy of his campaigns deterred others from rebelling. The swiftness with which he responded to threats consolidated his image as an absolute ruler. The empire, though shaken, emerged more unified than ever. Darius's brutality was judged by some historians as necessary to avert disintegration. Others view it as a stark demonstration of his inflexible and authoritarian character. What is certain is that he achieved what few could have imagined, pacifying an immense empire in a short period. His reputation spread from the Indus to the Aegean. After quelling the rebellions, Darius consolidated his power as the legitimate heir of the Achaemenids. He was no longer merely a usurper who had vanquished Gaumata. Now he was the triumphant victor over rebellious kingdoms. His authority could no longer be challenged by force. He had earned the right to govern with both sword and decree. The wounds of the rebellions lingered in some regions for years. Not all peoples forgot the violence with which they were subdued. But Darius, firm in his vision of a strong and enduring empire, had sent an unequivocal message. In his empire, there was no room for armed dissent, only for organized obedience. Chapter 5. The Royal Administrator. After pacifying the empire with a firm hand, Darius dedicated himself to meticulous administration to ensure its permanence. He understood that governability required more than just military might. It demanded an efficient and just system. His vision propelled him to transform Persia into a highly organized state with clear norms and a centralized power structure. He established a system of satrapies, vast provincial divisions governed by satraps. Each satrap was responsible for collecting tributes, maintaining order, and providing troops to the king when necessary. This delegation allowed Darius to effectively control immense territories without becoming bogged down in minor details. It was a delicate balance between local autonomy and central oversight. To prevent abuses, he instituted special inspectors known as the eyes and ears of the king. These officials supervised the satraps and reported directly to Darius. This surveillance system ensured that no governor became overly powerful or corrupt. It was a shrewd measure to maintain unity without the constant need for his direct presence. Darius implemented legal and administrative codes that unified justice throughout the entire empire. Although he respected local laws, he introduced imperial regulations to ensure a common minimum standard. This facilitated conflict resolution and prevented arbitrary decisions that could foment discontent. Justice began to function with greater equity. The king also reorganized tax collection, standardizing tribute payments. Regions contributed based on their wealth and productivity, ensuring a steady flow of resources to the central government. This allowed for the financing of public projects, armies, and the broader administration. The imperial economy gained unprecedented stability and predictability. Darius promoted both internal and external trade, keenly aware that a prosperous empire was inherently easier to control. He improved infrastructure, meticulously restored ancient routes, and guaranteed security on the roads. Commerce flourished, and Persia transformed into a vital economic hub, connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe. Prosperity became a fundamental pillar of royal power. The king also fostered currency standardization, facilitating transactions and curbing fraud. The golden daric and the silver siglos became powerful symbols of economic unity. This monetary uniformity streamlined exchange and solidified Darius's image as a modern and visionary ruler. Darius was a leader who deeply valued talent and loyalty. He systematically replaced inefficient officials and rewarded those who diligently performed their duties. This limited meritocracy improved the quality of administration and state management. He created a professional bureaucracy capable of maintaining order across such an extensive empire. Furthermore, the king encouraged cultural integration among his diverse peoples. He did not impose a single language or religion, but fostered mutual respect. He promoted tolerance to avert internal conflicts that could erode central power. Thus, he maintained a delicate equilibrium between unity and diversity. His foreign policy also mirrored his administrative acumen. Darius maintained strategic alliances, utilizing marriages and treaties to secure his borders. He avoided unnecessary confrontations, except when expansion was absolutely essential. His diplomatic mastery reinforced internal stability and projected Persian power effectively. To administer justice, Darius established formal tribunals and delegated judges to the provinces. He personally oversaw important cases and regulated abuses. The law transformed into an instrument to strengthen royal authority and maintain social peace. This system laid the groundwork for classical Persian law. The king also spearheaded public infrastructure projects, including canals, palaces, and temples. These magnificent works not only improved the quality of life, but also powerfully symbolized the empire's grandeur. Moreover, they generated employment and economic activity in diverse regions, further strengthening connections to the central government. Darius promoted the widespread use of writing and official documentation. He instituted archives and meticulous records to maintain control over state affairs. This ensured administrative continuity and prevented bureaucratic chaos. The history of Persia was written and preserved thanks to this meticulous order. Darius's image as an efficient administrator transcended his reign. His legacy served as a model for future empires and monarchies. He proved that power resides not only in war, but in the profound ability to organize and govern with justice. He was a true architect of the Persian state. Finally, Darius demonstrated that being a king implied seamlessly combining force with administrative wisdom. His reign marked an era where discipline, order, and efficiency were the very keys to imperial survival. His name became etched in history as one of antiquity's greatest rulers. Chapter 6. Persepolis, a city of eternity. From the very beginning of his reign, Darius harbored a grand vision: to construct a capital city that would profoundly symbolize the empire's immense greatness and unbreakable unity. The city of Persepolis was conceived not merely as a political center, but as a monumental work designed to reflect Persia's boundless wealth and formidable power. Its chosen location, nestled in the highlands of Fars, was both strategically astute and deeply symbolic. Persepolis began its construction around 518 BCE upon a colossal artificial terrace, meticulously engineered to imbue the palaces with breathtaking majesty. The Chaf planning was incredibly meticulous, seamlessly blending Persian architecture with profound influences from Mesopotamia and Anatolia. Every single building was purposefully designed to impress and to visually articulate the empire's vast diversity. The architectural design included expansive staircases, grand audience halls, and immense storage facilities for tributes. The intricate reliefs carved into the walls depicted the various subjugated peoples bearing their offerings. This powerful iconography emphasized the empire's inherent unity under the king and the harmonious coexistence among its diverse nations. To raise Persepolis from the earth, Darius summoned artisans and laborers from every corner of the empire. Greeks, Babylonians, Medes, Egyptians, and Persians worked side by side, showcasing a remarkable multicultural collaboration. This diversity further reinforced the profound idea of an empire united by astute administration and rich culture, not solely by brute force. The construction demanded enormous material resources, from intricately carved stones to precious imported woods. Nearby quarries supplied the limestone, while timber traveled from distant regions. The logistics were incredibly complex, demanding precise organization, a direct reflection of the sophisticated administrative system Darius had so brilliantly created. Persepolis was not only a political center, it was also a deeply religious one. The sacred fire temple, a powerful symbol of Zoroastrianism, stood prominently. Darius promoted this religion as the spiritual bedrock of the empire, yet without forcibly imposing it upon others. The royal rituals performed there bestowed divine legitimacy upon the monarch and his government. The royal palaces, especially the magnificent Apadana, featured roofs supported by towering, exquisitely decorated columns with elaborate capitals. These columns elegantly combined Persian and Asian elements, symbolizing the empire's vast diversity. The Apadana served as the grand venue for official audiences and solemn homage ceremonies. The city also boasted residences for numerous officials and guards. Vast storehouses were built to safely house tributes and vital supplies, ensuring that Persepolis would be self-sufficient even in times of crisis. Its mountainous, naturally protected location rendered it secure from external invasions. The inscriptions found in Persepolis are written in several languages, including Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylonian. This multilingualism reflected the empire's profound cultural complexity and the deliberate intention to communicate royal power to all its diverse communities. It was a powerful gesture of political inclusion within the imperial system. Persepolis served as the host city for annual ceremonies, most notably Nowruz, the Persian New Year. During these vibrant celebrations, representatives from all provinces would bring lavish gifts and tributes to the king. These gatherings profoundly strengthened imperial unity and enhanced Darius's prestige, further solidifying his symbolic authority. The city evolved into a central administrative hub where key decisions for the empire were made. Satraps journeyed to Persepolis to present reports and render accounts. The bureaucracy swelled, with archives and scribes meticulously recording every aspect of governance. Despite its undeniable splendor, Persepolis was not a traditionally fortified city. Its defense relied primarily on its remote location and the natural protection offered by the surrounding mountains. This choice powerfully reflected Darius's deep confidence in his formidable army and in the internal stability he had so painstakingly created. The construction spanned several decades and continued under Darius's successors, but he laid the foundational vision and direction. His ambition was not merely to create a palace, but an eternal symbol of boundless power. Persepolis was the magnificent materialization of his dream of a united and glorious empire. Modern archaeologists continue to unearth living testimonies of Achaemenid grandeur within Persepolis. Its ruins reveal an advanced civilization and a monarchy that masterfully combined immense power with exquisite art. This city stands as one of the most visible legacies of Darius and the mighty Persian Empire. Ultimately, Persepolis represented the pinnacle of Persian administration and culture under Darius. It was far more than a political center. It was a profound message etched into history. The creation of this city marked a profound turning point in how power was governed and projected in the ancient world. Chapter 7. The Satrapies and the Imperial System. To effectively administer an empire of such immense scale, Darius established a comprehensive territorial system known as the satrapies. These were vast provinces, each governed by a satrap, who acted as the king's direct representative. Each satrapy maintained relative autonomy, yet was bound to obey imperial laws and directives. This ingenious system allowed for better territorial control and more efficient resource management. Satraps were generally chosen from the Persian nobility, though in some instances local leaders were appointed. Their primary duties included collecting tributes, maintaining security, and providing troops to the king when necessary. Their power, though considerable, was closely monitored by special royal inspectors. This vigilance prevented abuses and corruption. The number of satrapies varied, but it is estimated that there were around 20 during Darius's reign. These divisions were based on geographical, ethnic, and political criteria. Some corresponded to ancient regions with distinct identities, while others were created to streamline administration. The system's flexibility was key to its success. Each satrapy had an administrative capital where bureaucracy was concentrated. In these cities, tributes were stored, taxes recorded, and troops organized. Communication with Persepolis and the imperial center was constant and swift, thanks to the extensive network of roads and messengers. This ensured that the king remained informed, enabling him to effectively control the satraps. Darius established the formidable figure of the eyes and ears of the king. These were high-ranking officials tasked with supervising and evaluating the performance of the governors. They reported directly to the monarch on Cambyses, any irregularity, conspiracy, or act of disobedience. This reinforced central power and significantly reduced the risks of rebellion. The satrapy system also embraced the empire's vast cultural diversity. Each province was allowed to maintain its traditions, languages, and religions, provided it fulfilled its obligations. This policy facilitated the acceptance of Persian rule, as it respected local identities and prevented unnecessary conflicts. The payment of tributes was fundamental to the imperial economy. Each satrapy was required to contribute a fixed annual amount calculated according to its wealth and resources. These tributes financed the army, public works construction, and the royal court. The standardization of payment streamlined administration and prevented local abuses. The army was intimately linked to the satrapal system. Satraps were obligated to mobilize soldiers for imperial campaigns and defend their territories. This duty reinforced military control and ensured the loyalty of the provinces. However, the permanent army and the royal guard ultimately guaranteed the king's supreme power. The bureaucracy within each satrapy was complex, with scribes, accountants, and officials responsible for finances and justice. Administrative records were meticulously detailed and preserved in official archives. This documentary control ensured efficient management and governmental continuity, even in the face of local changes. Local tribunals applied imperial laws as well as traditional norms. This allowed each people to feel represented in the justice system, strengthening social stability. The balance between imperial justice and respect for local customs was a significant innovation. In cases of insubordination or disobedience, the king intervened directly. Sanctions could include dismissals, punishments, or even executions. Firmness in controlling the satrapies was essential to prevent the empire from fragmenting. Darius applied these measures with unwavering determination. The satrapies also served as centers of cultural exchange. The coexistence of different ethnicities and religions fostered an environment of multiculturalism. Artistic and religious influences intermingled, enriching the Persian identity. This diversity was a profound strength of the empire. The collected taxes financed not only the army, but also grand public works and festivals. These projects benefited local populations and reinforced the king's image as a protector. Thus, Persian power extended into daily life. The satrapal system was later adopted and adapted by future empires, demonstrating its enduring efficacy. Darius's administrative organization served as a model for governing extensive territories. His ability to combine centralization with relative autonomy was key to the empire's longevity. In summary, the satrapies were the very pillar upon which Darius constructed an efficient and lasting empire. This system allowed him to govern with justice, control, and flexibility. The combination of strong central power and respect for the provinces was a successful formula that profoundly shaped history. Chapter 8: The Great Eastern Expansion. From the very beginning of his reign, Darius demonstrated a keen interest in consolidating and expanding the empire's eastern frontiers. The East represented a vast and diverse terrain, populated by nomadic peoples and largely unknown territories to the Persians. This expansion was not solely driven by a high quest for wealth. It also aimed to secure the central regions of the empire. The eastern regions included parts of Bactria, Sogdiana, and territories near modern-day Afghanistan and Central Asia. These areas were strategically important due to their vital trade routes and rich resources. However, Local resistance was formidable, and the geographical conditions were harsh. Persian armies had to adapt to adverse climates and challenging terrains. Bactria, a fertile and mountainous region, was one of the primary objectives. Its inhabitants were seasoned warriors, accustomed to warfare and the defense of their homeland. To bring it under control, Darius dispatched military campaigns led by trusted generals. The process was lengthy and demanded more than just brute force, incorporating diplomacy and strategic alliances. Sogdiana, situated to the north, also fiercely resisted Persian dominion. The Sogdians maintained their distinct culture and were active merchants along the Silk Road. The conquest of this region was not merely military, it was also economic, as it secured the passage of valuable goods westward. The Sogdian campaigns were characterized by their intensity. The Persians employed siege tactics and diplomacy to gain territory. In some cases, they offered pacts to local elites to integrate them into the imperial system. In others, they resorted to brute force to subjugate rebellious populations. This combination facilitated the incorporation of these territories into the satrapies. Resistance was not solely military. Many populations chose to rebel whenever possible. Darius had to confront various revolts in these eastern provinces, which complicated their consolidation. These rebellions were frequent due to the great distance from the imperial center and profound cultural differences. To ensure control, Darius reinforced military presence and established garrisons at strategic points. He also promoted the construction of roads and fortresses to facilitate troop mobility. The infrastructure allowed for more efficient administration and a rapid response to threats. The Persian Empire incorporated local cultures and religions to win over the population. In the East, they respected local cults and traditions, promoting Zoroastrianism without imposing it. This policy of respect helped stabilize the provinces and reduce prolonged resistance. The eastern territories contributed valuable resources such as minerals, horses, and agricultural products. These economic benefits bolstered the empire's capacity to finance its campaigns and projects. The wealth of the East also attracted merchants and artisans who enriched Persian culture. Control of the East allowed Persia to dominate key trade routes, especially the famous Silk Road. This facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies between Asia and Europe. Darius understood the strategic importance of these routes for the empire's prosperity and security. The eastern expansion also brought Darius into contact with nomadic and tribal peoples. These communities were difficult to control due to their mobility and guerrilla tactics. However, through a blend of alliances and reprisals, the king managed to subjugate them, or at least maintain relative peace. The balance between repression and negotiation was constant. Darius sent ambassadors and offered tributes to avoid larger conflicts. When necessary, he employed force to crush rebellions. This pragmatic approach maintained stability in complex regions. Reports and records of these campaigns reached Persepolis, where detailed accounts of victories and challenges were meticulously kept. These documents reinforced the king's image as a conqueror and protector of the empire. Constant communication helped coordinate efforts in such distant territories. The campaigns in the east lasted several years and continued under Darius's successors. His success laid the groundwork for the empire to reach its maximum geographical extent. Despite the difficulties, the region became an integral part of Persia. Ultimately, the expansion into the east strengthened Persia's strategic and economic position. Darius consolidated his power and ensured his empire was truly global for its time. The integration of these territories was a remarkable achievement in his reign. Chapter 9. Thrace, Scythia, and the Shadows of Europe. During Darius's reign, the relentless Persian expansion towards Europe led to the control of Thrace, a strategically vital region in the northern Balkan Peninsula. Thrace was inhabited by fierce warrior tribes that fiercely maintained a degree of autonomy. Its conquest was utterly crucial for opening a pathway to the territories further north and for asserting control over the critical trade routes leading westward. The campaign in Thrace was meticulously planned. The Persians dispatched armies not only to subjugate the local tribes, but also to establish colonies and advanced outposts. This Persian presence allowed them to secure the empire's European frontier and facilitate future campaigns. Thrace was successfully integrated as a satrapy under Persian administration. Simultaneously, Darius directed his formidable efforts towards Scythia, a vast and enigmatic territory corresponding today to parts of Ukraine and Russia. The Scythians were nomadic peoples, masters of cavalry and guerrilla warfare, incredibly difficult to control due to their swift mobility and elusive tactics. The Scythian campaign stands as one of the most famous for the unyielding resistance they offered the Persians. The Persian army launched a large-scale expedition to subjugate the Scythians. However, the challenging nature of the terrain, vast forests and sprawling steppes, hindered their advance. The Scythians skillfully avoided direct confrontations, striking with swift ambushes and retreating rapidly. This tactics relentlessly wore down the Persian forces and prolonged the arduous conflict. Darius established fortifications and military outposts to secure the conquered territory, but the scarcity of resources and immense distances complicated maintenance. The campaign against Scythia severely tested Persian logistics and strategy in difficult and unfamiliar conditions for their traditional army. Despite the formidable difficulties, the Persians managed to dominate significant areas of Thrace and make inroads into Scythia. The conquest was not total or definitive, but it represented a substantial advance in controlling the region. Persian influence extended towards the Black Sea and its associated trade routes. The Scythians maintained their independence in the more remote regions, but in some cases, accepted pacts or tributes to avoid larger confrontations. This blend of conquest and negotiation characterized Persian policy in Europe. Darius displayed pragmatism to maintain stability. The satrapy of Thrace became vital for securing the flow of goods and tributes from Europe. It also served as a crucial base for future campaigns against the Greek city-states. The Persian administration strengthened infrastructure and established a constant military presence in the region. Persian troops employed diverse tactics in these campaigns, adapting to varying conditions and enemies. Light cavalry and trained infantry had to contend with Scythian mobility and rugged terrain. These experiences expanded Persian military knowledge and prepared them for future confrontations. The campaign in Scythia also stood out for the fierce resistance and cunning of its inhabitants. Their intimate knowledge of the territory and their use of guerrilla tactics frequently frustrated Persian plans. This prolonged confrontation is remembered as a prime example of nomadic resistance against a centralized empire. The conquest had both political and economic impact. Persian influence facilitated trade and cultural exchange between Europe and Asia. The region of Thrace served as a bridge between two worlds, benefiting the empire and enhancing its prestige. Darius promoted the integration of local elites into the administration to ensure loyalty. This model allowed him to control diverse and resilient regions without always resorting to brute force. Collaboration with the Thracian tribes was key to maintaining relative peace. Historical sources like Herodotus meticulously document these campaigns, albeit with a certain Greek bias. Nevertheless, they clearly demonstrate the importance and complexity of these conquests for Persia. The account highlights both Persian victories and the formidable difficulties encountered. In conclusion, the conquest of Thrace and the campaign in Scythia marked a pivotal moment in Persian expansion into Europe. They reflected Darius's grand ambition and the inherent complexities of governing diverse and resilient territories. This chapter illustrates the intricate blend of power and diplomacy in his reign. Chapter 10. Greece, the spark of resistance. The relentless Persian expansion westward encountered a significant and unexpected obstacle in the Greek city-states, which began to exhibit an unwavering resistance to imperial dominion. This Greek resistance was not, at first, a unified front. Each city-state harbored its own distinct policies and motivations. However, they shared a growing fear and a profound rejection of the escalating Persian influence in the region. The very first spark of conflict ignited when Ionia, a region on the western coast of Asia Minor already under Persian control, boldly revolted with the covert support of Athens and Eretria. This Ionian revolt was a direct and audacious challenge to Darius, who considered this region vital to the integrity of his sprawling empire. The rebellion triggered deep tensions that marked the unequivocal beginning of the Greco-Persian Wars. Darius responded with decisive force, organizing swift military expeditions to punish the rebellious Ionian cities and, more importantly, to chastise the Greek cities that had brazenly supported them. His formidable armies traversed the Aegean Sea with the express objective of subjugating the defiant city-states and unequivocally restoring order. The campaign served as a stark and clear message of Persia's immense capability and unwavering will to maintain its dominion. The Persian campaign succeeded in suppressing the Ionian revolt, yet it simultaneously generated a potent wave of resentment across Greece. Athens, in particular, swiftly transformed into a powerful symbol of resistance against Persia. This escalating tension set the ominous stage for future conflicts, where the fierce defense of Greek autonomy would clash violently with the insatiable Persian imperial ambition. The Greek city-states, though still inherently divided, began to cautiously organize defensive alliances. The deep-seated rivalry between Athens and Sparta complicated these alliances, yet the overwhelming Persian threat spurred a degree of necessary cooperation. The crucial importance of unity was finally recognized as essential to face a common, far more powerful enemy. Darius then planned a broader, more comprehensive campaign to definitively subjugate Greece and punish the cities that had supported the Ionians. His clear intention was to secure total control of the Aegean Sea and expand his influence deep into the European continent. To achieve this, he meticulously prepared a considerable fleet and a well-equipped land army. The Persian preparations involved mobilizing troops from diverse parts of the empire. Soldiers from various cultures participated, ranging from light infantry to the formidable Persian Immortal Guard. This sheer diversity showcased the empire's vast power and immense resources, yet it also presented a formidable challenge in terms of coordination. Darius's campaign faced both natural and human obstacles. The narrow straits and rugged Greek coasts proved difficult terrain for both naval and land maneuvers. The Greek cities cleverly exploited their intimate knowledge of the territory to mount effective defenses and ambushes. Local resistance profoundly complicated the Persian task. Greek sources vividly recount these tensions, often with a strong bias, glorifying their warriors' bravery against the vast empire. Nevertheless, it is undeniably clear that the Persian threat was both real and constant. The confrontation between Persia and Greece evolved into a momentous clash of civilizations with enduring implications. The Greek reaction, albeit temporary, united its citizens in a fervent defense of their cities and their cherished way of life. The powerful idea of freedom and autonomy became a driving force to resist foreign domination. This cultural and political motivation proved pivotal in the Greco-Persian Wars. Darius's campaign also carried significant diplomatic implications. Some Greek states chose to submit and collaborate with Persia, while others fiercely resisted. This internal division within Greece was shrewdly exploited by both sides to advance their respective objectives. Greek resistance was not solely military. It also encompassed the formation of intricate coalitions and astute political strategies. The cities sought mutual support and coordinated efforts to strengthen their defenses. The importance of diplomacy and political maneuvering proved as significant as that of military force. In conclusion, the initiation of Greek resistance against Persia marked the beginning of a series of conflicts that would profoundly define the history of both cultures. Darius's grand ambition clashed directly with the Greek city-state's fervent desire for autonomy and freedom, sowing a lasting legacy of confrontations and uneasy alliances. Chapter 11. Marathon. The Unforeseen Victory. The Battle of Marathon stands as one of the most emblematic episodes in the long and arduous history of the Greco-Persian Wars. It unfolded in the year 490 BCE, when Darius I, the Great King of Persia, dispatched a formidable military expedition with the express purpose of punishing Athens for its audacious support of the Ionian revolt. This pivotal conflict would decisively mark a crucial turning point in the unfolding saga of Greek resistance. The vast Persian fleet disembarked its mighty forces on the plains of Marathon, northeast of Athens. Although possessing a significant numerical superiority, the Persians found themselves confronting a challenging terrain and an Athenian army fiercely motivated by the profound desire to defend their cherished homeland. The astute general Miltiades led the Greeks with a bold and remarkably effective strategy, meticulously seeking to exploit the Persians' inherent weaknesses. The Persians, brimming with confidence in their overwhelming numbers and powerful cavalry, expected to easily crush the Athenian hoplites. However, they were utterly surprised by an unexpected and brilliant tactic. Miltiades shrewdly strengthened the flanks of his formation while deliberately weakening the center, with the calculated intention of enveloping the enemy. This audacious maneuver proved absolutely fundamental to the ultimate Greek victory. The combat itself was intense and brutally bloody, with both sides displaying immense bravery and unwavering discipline. The Athenian hoplites, armed with their long spears and heavy shields, valiantly withstood the initial Persian onslaught. The brutal hand-to-hand combat was decided by the sheer cohesion and superior training of the Greek soldiers, who decisively outmatched the Persians in this crucial aspect. The Persian cavalry encountered significant difficulty maneuvering on the narrow plain of Marathon, severely limiting its effectiveness. This geographical constraint favored the Greek infantry, who steadfastly held their ground and managed to shatter the enemy lines. The element of surprise and the fierce determination of the Athenians were key factors that decisively tipped the balance in their favor. Witnessing the Persian center begin to falter, the Greeks launched a powerful, concerted attack, sowing widespread disarray and panic within the Persian ranks. The Persian retreat quickly devolved into a chaotic stampede, allowing the Greeks to capture vast enemy camps and equipment. The victory was complete and utterly decisive for Athens. The battle carried immense symbolic and strategic impact. It powerfully demonstrated that the formidable Persian army could indeed be defeated by the Greek city-states when they were united and skillfully led. This victory significantly boosted Athenian morale and powerfully reinforced the profound idea of freedom in the face of foreign domination. Darius, upon receiving the news of the defeat at Marathon, was reportedly surprised and deeply concerned by the unexpected Greek resistance. However, he was unable to launch a new, immediate invasion due to pressing internal issues within his vast empire. The battle at Marathon temporarily delayed Persian ambitions in Greece. The confrontation at Marathon also highlighted the exceptional heroism of the Greek soldiers and the paramount importance of Miltiades' leadership. His strategy was studied and admired for centuries to come. The battle transformed into an enduring symbol of the defense of Greek democracy and autonomy. The Persians learned valuable lessons from this defeat and meticulously planned future campaigns with greater preparation and resources. The episode marked the solemn beginning of a series of larger conflicts, famously known as the Greco-Persian Wars, which would continue for decades. Marathon was merely the first chapter of this epic confrontation. History recounts that after the victory, a messenger ran from Marathon to Athens to announce the triumph, inspiring the modern tradition of the marathon race. This legend reflects the profound emotional and cultural impact of the battle on Western history. Historical sources, primarily Herodotus, provide detailed accounts, albeit from a Greek perspective. Even so, the Battle of Marathon is widely recognized as a real and transcendental historical event that fundamentally defined the course of the conflict between Persia and Greece. The Greek triumph at Marathon allowed Athens to consolidate its power and prestige in the region. It was a crucial step towards the flourishing of classical civilization and Athenian democracy. Without this victory, the history of Europe might have taken a very different course. In summary, the Battle of Marathon symbolizes unwavering resistance in the face of adversity and the resolute defense of fundamental values. It was a pivotal turning point in the Greco-Persian Wars and in the history of the ancient world. This episode continues to be studied and admired for its enduring historical and military significance. Chapter 12. The Sunset of a Titan. After the profound defeat at Marathon, Darius IV meticulously focused his remaining efforts on maintaining the intricate internal stability of his vast empire. Administrative consolidation and systematic tribute collection became paramount priorities, designed to ensure the seamless functioning of the sprawling territory under his unwavering control. Economic stability, he keenly understood, was absolutely crucial for confronting any future conflicts. During these final twilight years, Darius personally oversaw the continuation of grand architectural projects, including the majestic expansion of Persepolis and other vital administrative centers. These colossal constructions symbolize the sheer power and grandeur of the empire, while also strengthening territorial cohesion through efficient infrastructure. However, Darius's health slowly began to deteriorate. It is widely believed that he suffered from a chronic illness that increasingly limited his public activity. Despite this physical decline, he steadfastly maintained political control through loyal delegates and the meticulously structured system of government he had built, a system robust enough not to depend exclusively on his direct, omnipresent presence. The king also faced persistent challenges on his eastern frontiers, where nomadic tribes continued to cause troublesome unrest. He wisely delegated responsibilities to his most trusted generals and satraps to contain these threats, demonstrating profound confidence in his administration and ensuring the empire's defense without compromising internal security. In his last years, Darius displayed a particular and pressing interest in the succession and the future of his empire. He meticulously prepared his son Xerxes to assume the throne, ensuring that he possessed the necessary backing to continue his policies and bravely confront external challenges, especially the lingering Greek resistance. Militarily, Darius began to meticulously plan a new grand invasion of Greece, intending to avenge the painful defeat at Marathon and definitively subjugate the rebellious city-states. This monumental decision reflected his unyielding ambition to restore Persian authority and prevent Greek resistance from further consolidating. To prepare for this colossal campaign, Darius mobilized immense resources, solidified crucial alliances, and personally oversaw the construction of new, formidable fleets. He also vigorously reinforced the discipline and training of his troops, keenly aware that he would face an enemy that had proven itself remarkably formidable. The organization was meticulous and on an unprecedented scale. Despite his tireless efforts, Darius did not live to see this grand invasion realized. He died in 486 BCE, leaving behind a complex legacy and a geopolitical situation fraught with profound tensions. His death marked the end of an era, yet the empire he left behind remained one of the greatest powers in the ancient world. The succession was remarkably peaceful, largely thanks to Xerxes' prior preparation and the firm control of the Persian nobility. This ensured an orderly transition that averted major internal conflicts. Political continuity proved a significant success, especially in a context where empires often suffered debilitating succession crises. Darius's legacy in his final years was the consolidation of an efficient imperial system and the meticulous preparation for new conquests. His unwavering focus on administration, infrastructure, and the army laid the foundational groundwork for Persia to continue as a dominant power under his successor. Furthermore, Darius fostered religious and cultural tolerance within the empire, which profoundly helped maintain peace across diverse territories. This inclusive policy was fundamental for the stability and integration of conquered peoples, something truly innovative for his era. His last years were marked by a powerful blend of personal achievements and strategic preparations for future conflicts. Although he could not culminate his ultimate ambition against Greece, his meticulous planning ensured that Persia would not abandon its expansionist objectives, keeping the flame of conquest vibrantly alive. The figure of Darius in these final years is that of a leader who, despite physical limitations, continued to guide his empire with unyielding determination. His ability to delegate and organize was crucial for the Persian state's survival and continued prosperity. Historical records portray a monarch who profoundly understood the importance of solid governance and effective administration far beyond mere battles. His administrative legacy had a lasting impact on the structure of subsequent empires. In conclusion, Darius's last years were a period of intense consolidation, thorough preparation, and profound legacy. His death closed a significant chapter, but he left behind a strong empire, ready to confront the challenges of the future. History remembers him as one of the great architects of the Persian Empire. Chapter 13. The Enduring Tapestry of Power. The profound legacy of Darius I transcends his impressive military conquests and fundamentally centers on the intricate political structure he so meticulously consolidated within the Persian Empire. His organizational vision enabled the efficient management of a vast and wonderfully diverse territory through a highly effective system of governance, anchored in the strategic delegation of power to regional satraps. This innovative satrapal system greatly facilitated local administration, significantly reducing internal conflicts and fostering unwavering loyalty to the monarch. Each satrap was directly responsible for governing his assigned region, diligently collecting tributes and meticulously maintaining security, while also providing troops to the king when necessary. This decentralized yet controlled approach allowed Darius to effectively manage a multicultural empire without needing to be physically present on every front. Darius instituted a comprehensive legal system that sought to unify norms across the empire, while always respecting local traditions. This intricate combination of imperial unity and profound cultural diversity was absolutely essential for maintaining stability over several decades, thereby transforming Persia into a compelling model of governance for countless future civilizations. Furthermore, the Persian king vigorously promoted the construction of monumental infrastructure, including an expansive network of roads and sophisticated communication systems that intricately connected the entire empire. The famous Royal Road, for instance, dramatically facilitated the rapid transit of messengers, formidable troops, and valuable merchandise, thereby powerfully strengthening territorial cohesion and administrative efficiency. In the cultural sphere, Darius championed profound respect and unwavering tolerance towards the diverse religions and customs of the conquered peoples. This inclusive policy was vitally important in preventing widespread rebellions and fostered a peaceful coexistence among various ethnicities and belief systems. Persepolis, the magnificent capital city constructed during his reign, stands as a breathtaking testament to the artistic and architectural splendor achieved under Darius. Its impressive palaces and intricate reliefs beautifully reflect the immense cultural richness and the vibrant diversity of influences that the empire absorbed, sending a powerful message of both power and unity. Persian art under Darius masterfully combined elements from different cultures, from Mesopotamian to Egyptian, giving rise to a truly unique and harmonious style. This artistic fusion symbolically represented the integration of peoples and the empire's grandeur as a vibrant cultural melting pot. In foreign policy, Darius established astute diplomatic relations with other powerful entities, such as Egypt and Greece, actively seeking alliances that would fortify his position. His pragmatic approach allowed him to maintain peace on certain fronts while meticulously preparing for other military campaigns. The tribute system developed by Darius was among the most organized of antiquity. Each satrapy contributed resources according to its productive capacity, ensuring stable revenues for the empire and enabling the financing of public projects and vast military campaigns. The Persian administration under Darius introduced meticulous written and accounting records that streamlined financial and legal control. These documents remain among the most valuable historical sources for understanding the empire's economy and organization during that era. Darius also fostered the dissemination of a common administrative language, Aramaic, to facilitate communication across the empire's diverse regions. This decision was crucial for effective administration and the empire's cultural integration. On the religious front, Darius actively supported Zoroastrianism, the predominant religion in Persia, yet without imposing it upon conquered peoples. This openness contributed to peaceful coexistence and strengthened the empire from a deep spiritual foundation. His political legacy laid the foundational groundwork for subsequent empires, such as that of Alexander the Great and the Seleucids, who adopted many of his administrative and political structures. This vividly demonstrates Darius's enduring influence on world history. Persian culture during his reign profoundly influenced the arts, architecture, and philosophy of the regions under his dominion. This cultural richness served as a vibrant bridge between East and West, facilitating exchanges that resonated for centuries thereafter. In summary, the political and cultural legacy of Darius I was absolutely fundamental to the success and remarkable longevity of the Persian Empire. His integrative and administrative vision laid the bedrock for an efficient, diverse, and powerful state, forever remembered as one of antiquity's greatest empires. Chapter 14. Echoes in Time, Curiosities and Hidden Threads. Darius, despite being one of antiquity's most powerful monarchs, consistently maintained an image of an accessible and just leader, which garnered him profound respect from both his subjects and his formidable enemies. This deeply human facet is rarely emphasized in traditional accounts. His mastery of propaganda was truly remarkable. For instance, in his official inscriptions, Darius presents himself as a king chosen directly by Ahura Mazda, which divinely legitimized his rule and unified the empire under a common sacred idea. This intricate connection with the divine was a fundamental political tool. It is little known that Darius I was a passionate enthusiast of engineering and architecture, actively participating in the design of colossal projects like the canal between the Nile and the Red Sea. This monumental canal greatly facilitated commerce and communication, powerfully demonstrating his advanced vision for economic development. Furthermore, Darius was personally responsible for standardizing weights and measures across the entire empire, which remarkably simplified commercial transactions and significantly reduced fraud. This integrated system contributed immensely to the flourishing of trade and the widespread prosperity in Persia and its neighboring territories. It has been discovered that Darius harbored a particular interest in advanced messaging systems. He implemented a vast network of relay stations with specially trained riders to ensure that royal orders and crucial news circulated with unparalleled speed and efficiency throughout the empire. A little-known curiosity is that Darius prohibited the use of slavery for certain peoples within the empire, seeking to foster deeper social stability. This humanitarian policy was highly uncommon for the era and reflected a remarkably different approach to the treatment of conquered populations. Another intriguing anecdote is that Darius, despite his absolute power, actively promoted a culture of debate and counsel among his ministers. It is widely believed that he held frequent meetings to listen to diverse opinions before making important decisions, showcasing a remarkably participatory governance. The Behistun inscription, carved into a towering cliff, stands as one of the most valuable sources about Darius and contains a meticulous account of his ascent to power. This monumental work proved crucial for deciphering cuneiform script and understanding Persian history. It is said that Darius was a passionate hunter, yet he pursued this pastime with profound respect for nature, seeking to maintain an ecological balance within his vast dominions. This pioneering attitude contrasts sharply with the typical image of ancient monarchs. Despite his reputation as a rigorous administrator, Darius also possessed a deep spiritual side. He diligently engaged in Zoroastrian rituals, which he considered essential for maintaining cosmic and political order. This profound spirituality influenced both his policies and his unique mode of governance. Darius introduced the use of the daric, a golden coin that greatly facilitated international trade and became a powerful symbol of Persian might. This economic advancement had lasting repercussions on the finances of antiquity. Among his lesser-known achievements is the reform of the postal system, which ensured rapid communication not only for official matters, but also for merchants and travelers, thereby stimulating cultural and economic exchange. Evidence indicates that Darius actively supported the arts and literature, patronizing poets and artisans who helped solidify Persian cultural identity, seamlessly blending influences from his vast territories. A curious fact is that Darius maintained a sophisticated system of spies who monitored not only external enemies but also potential conspirators within the empire, allowing him to maintain effective control and prevent revolts before they could fully erupt. Ultimately, although many remember Darius primarily as a formidable conqueror, his most enduring legacy is that of a visionary who profoundly understood the vital importance of an empire unified by just laws, shared culture, and efficient communication. He meticulously laid the very foundations for Persian civilization and its profound subsequent influence. That is all for today, travelers. I hope you have enjoyed this story and found it useful. Thank you deeply for sharing this moment with me. We will meet again in the next installment of Forgotten Scrolls.